Hey, ladies, thanks for being here. First of all, I just want to make an announcement. There is no, in my opinion, no better, like for female jiu-jitsu, MMA, like girls have been in it a long time. Like Amy, Christy, Cindy, thank you for being here. These are all black belts in jiu-jitsu. And if they wanted to, they could beat the shit out of me right now, but they're so nice. All right, so guys, I'm going to go around the table. I'm not going to introduce you. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself. Amy.
Okay, my name's Amy Montenegro.
Jiu-jitsu black belt.
Okay, yes, I'm a jiu-jitsu black belt.
What do you do for work?
I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for 16 years. And I guess a former mixed martial artist, professional.
Mm-hmm. Who did you fight for? What like?
I fought for a lot of like local promotions, a lot of like smaller shows around the country, and then I fought for Invicta for quite a while. I did a little stint on the Ultimate Fighter, was short-lived, but yeah.
Well, and what else do you do for like? Do you teach martial arts in any way?
I teach Bang Muay Thai.
Bang Muay Thai, yeah. Under Dwayne.
Days a week, yes.
Yeah,
under Dwayne.
Dwayne's awesome.
Yes.
So freaking cool. Christy, how about you?
I'm Christy. I am also a black belt. I'm a firefighter, local firefighter. Yeah, that's what I do.
So you're a hero.
Nah.
Yeah, no, you're, to all my cop friends, she's better than you. No, I'm just kidding. So you're a firefighter, black belt in jiu-jitsu. How long have you been doing jiu-jitsu?
12. What do you, Amy? I was started with Amy, so I don't know
how long have you guys been doing jiu-jitsu?
I started in 2012.
So yeah, I started in 2013. So 10 years.
11 years.
11 years.
Yeah, it's 2023. I know.
Math
right?
is hard.
It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
So firefighter, black belt in jiu-jitsu, and you've competed where? Like,
we've gotten to go all over. It's been really cool. But I think the most memorably I've gone to, I went and fought in Italy.
No,
yeah, it was
shit.
It was super cool. It was like inspiring to be where the Coliseum is, and then just go in there and all the weights were in kilograms, so I barely made it, but it was still fine. Math is not good.
You gotta pull out your calculator. What is this?
So that was fun. But then, yeah, just I'll go with these girls to like Pans and Worlds and like local tournaments.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Pans, Worlds, same.
Miami.
Cindy.
Yeah, fun stuff.
Hi, I'm Cindy Hales, and I'm also a black belt, and I teach jiu-jitsu and train with them.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah. So let me ask you this, Cindy. So you teach jiu-jitsu. You have your own school, correct?
I do have my own school, Sleeper Jiu-Jitsu.
Sleeper Jiu-Jitsu.
Yep.
Great school.
Yep.
I was there for the grand opening. When was that? How long ago was that?
October 2019.
Wow, it's almost 4 years now.
Almost 4 years.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
I remember going for the grand opening and the mat was loaded.
Yeah.
And
That's
I saw,
the best.
and then of course seeing familiar faces like, oh yeah, here, you know, like Sean Weisenberg was in there, rolling him there. That was, yeah, you know, Caleb Germany,
Yeah.
you know, he owns Logic down in Puyallup, great school too. You know, it's just good having that connection. You know, the jiu-jitsu community in the Northwest is amazing.
For sure.
Yeah, Sleeper Jiu-Jitsu, and you've competed all over the world.
Yeah, I've done a little jiu-jitsu here and there. Right now, I've been doing the IBJJF tournaments the last couple of years, and I've done a little MMA, and yeah, mainly just jiu-jitsu.
What would be your most, let's call it like memorable MMA or jiu-jitsu match? Which match do you go, oh, I remember that match, whether it's a win or a loss? Like,
Most memorable would be fighting Megumi in Japan.
in Japan, okay.
Because she was like my hero. And
Wow.
so I got to fight her. It was my second MMA fight. And I lost in the second round, but it was probably the most memorable, right? As far as like something that was like, took me a while to get there, get the fight, had to do a lot, lose a lot of weight, had a hard training camp.
A lot of work, isn't it?
A lot of work. And so, yeah, I had that one. And then I think I like Master Worlds for IBJJF. I did ADCC in 2007.
Wow, 07.
Yeah.
Wow, awesome. ADC in 07, Masters Worlds. And I think, if I remember right, if I've checked, you're up there on the rankings.
4th degree.
4th degree black belt.
4th degree black belt.
And in IBJJF, like you're like
Number 2.
number 2. Come
and
on.
in the Hall of Fame. You just got inducted in the Hall of
So,
Fame too.
like
Yeah.
just only number 2.
Right.
Oh, I mean, come on, Cindy. That's awesome. That's awesome. And then like, you're a business person. You own a gym. You run a business. You've been doing jiu-jitsu longer than most people. You got your black belt. When did you get your black belt?
2006.
2006.
Yeah.
Nice. And that was, I mean, doing some quick math, that's like 17-ish plus years ago, right?
A long time ago. Yeah. I started in
18 years ago.
2000. Got my black belt in 2006.
23 years jiu-jitsu, been a black belt for 17 years, 4th degree.
Wow.
And I think you were, what's like tell a little bit about like the Dirty Dozen, one of the first.
I am number 12.
Number 12.
Number 12 on the Dirty Dozen. So I'm the 12th non-Brazilian girl to get a black belt. So outside of Brazil.
Outside of
girls
Brazil.
in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'll never forget the first time I ever rolled with Cindy.
I don't think anyone will forget the
Oh
first
man.
time they
So
rolled with
okay.
Cindy.
So first of all, have you guys ever met Terry Belke? Terry? You'll
feel
meet
like
him.
I
No,
did.
you have
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
because he does like a lot of the judging.
Oh, yes.
Right, ball guy.
Yeah. Tattoos, bald head,
Okay, yes.
50 some years old, good looking
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Him and I go way back. We were white belts together. Terry's like, hey, let's go to Kirkland. We're gonna go train in Kirkland. Oh, let's do it. We go there, we do like kind of an open mat thing, we do that a lot. And then that's where I meet Cindy. I meet Cindy there. And then I'm rolling, whatever, and I roll with Cindy. And I roll with Cindy and I'm thinking like, okay, I'm a nice guy, I'm a polite guy, whatever. None of that fucking mattered, dude. She disappeared. Every time I put my hands on her, I thought like, oh, she disappeared. She balled me up like a pretzel and made me her bitch. And she laughed while I did it. And I'm laughing because it's so amazing. It's a good feeling. This lady made me realize that, okay, jiu-jitsu is for me. I'm doing this. That's awesome. Yeah, the technique is incredible. And that was like fucking 11 years ago.
Yeah.
10, 11 years ago. I'll never forget that. And she also knows a friend of mine, Eddie Rajavan.
I do know
You ready?
Eddie. I was actually just talking about Eddie.
Yeah.
As someone was doing the twister, and I was like, I used to get caught in that over and over and over for like every time by this guy named goddamn Eddie.
Yeah.
Right? Just fuck me up with that. I'm like, not anymore. I don't get caught with that move. Yeah.
Eddie's awesome. Eddie is actually the guy who got me into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Did you know Jorge as well?
Yeah, Jorge.
Oh, yeah.
Wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strongest pound for pound person.
Dude, he's like 145 pounds, feels like he's 185. This wrestling. And he's super sweet guy.
Nice.
He's like, hey man, you want to wrestle? I'm like, I roll, I do jiu-jitsu. He's like, yeah, same thing, Yeah. And he's like, you want to start
Why are
standing?
you
I'm like,
tapping? I haven't done my move yet. Tapping.
dude, I'll tell you this. Jorge choked me out once across the chin. Like he got a rear naked on me. And I did this one. And he's squeezing. It's legal. And I didn't know. And he's squeezing. Like, and my jaw was like, oh. You can choke people across the chin. And it's legal, by the way.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you okay, bro? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. That hurts. He's like, so
awful.
sorry.
Yeah.
Really tough. He's in Mexico now. He's back in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah. He him and I touch base once in a while on Facebook and stuff. But yeah, he's back
talk
in
to him every
Mexico.
once in a while.
Yeah.
He has his dogs and his pull-ups.
Yep. Dogs in his pull-ups. Yep. Stays ripped. And he's like 50, I think. He's up there. And he stays ripped. Yeah, I started doing judo that's where I met Jorge and Eddie. And then I remember my judo coach actually calling Eddie and said, hey, you got to come down to the gym. There's this kid here. And I want you to beat him up.
That was you.
I was the kid that he wanted me to get beat up.
Yeah.
Because I was doing judo, and I remember Coach John was like, "Oh, you're going to be pretty good at this." I'm like, "All right, thanks. Yeah, that's cool. It makes me feel good." And then he brought Eddie, and then Eddie beat me up, and I was like, "Oh, awesome. This is cool." And he did it so slick like and so chill, and and he was high. He was smoking weed, and just like he's smoking weed, and he's like, "All right, just go roll." And that's how I got into it. And Eddie got me doing jiu-jitsu. Yeah. But the thing about the jiu-jitsu community, especially for females, is I've read statistics that like only 5% of the jiu-jitsu community is females. So if you have a class of 20 people, it's one of them is going to be a girl, right? So like, guys, tell me a little about that. Like Amy coming up. Like,
well, in martial arts, I started, my first martial art was Muay Thai. And I got comfortable even like practicing because I had 2 female instructors. And then like there was a couple of male instructors. But I got comfortable training because they were there and it wasn't, I kind of had to, like we did clinch and everything, but I was able to like learn the techniques and stuff. And I was able to like ease myself in training in Muay Thai. There was a decent amount of females there that did it too. And then I got into fighting after like a few months of training. They thought that I should fight. I got really addicted. Like I took a fight. I got really addicted to like doing that because I really liked fighting. And once like there wasn't a whole lot more like fights in the area, like I kind of felt like I did what I could do with Muay Thai in that time. I wanted to transfer to MMA. It wasn't so bad for me going in because I went to a straight MMA gym. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't so bad for me going into an MMA gym. It was a little bit of like a culture change. Like it was like very, very much like martial arts to like MMA gym. A lot of dudes, a lot of like more like, whatever kind of language, like a different little bit culture, but nothing that was, offensive to me. So for me, I eased myself in through like kickboxing, Muay Thai, got into competing, got comfortable training with guys. And then I transferred to MMA with a goal of fighting. So by the time I was like having to roll around on the mat with a guy, like, I was already, it wasn't really much of an issue for me by that time. But like, as far as other women there, I was lucky to have one training partner who was a female, right?
Gotcha.
Usually it was a guy, a smaller guy, who I could roll with. If that, though, a lot of times you just had the guys. And then after doing MMA for a little while, I decided to add jiu-jitsu in the gi to my repertoire. And same, it's like you're lucky if you have a female to roll with.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you started, it was intimidating a little bit. Right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
And what was the most intimidating thing? Like, like walking through the door is usually like heart pounding, right?
A little bit. And a lot of it was just like I'm feeling like super uncoordinated and not knowing like what I was doing.
Right. But really. That's where you go learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you just got to get past that part where
it's an insecurity, not just for yourself, but like you feel like you're a hindrance to other people.
Or like feeling like you look funny, right?
Right. Worried about what they're going to say.
Yes.
What's this silly person doing? Like, no, I get it, But you stuck with it, and then you don't regret any of it, right? You wouldn't change anything.
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Awesome.
No.
It's awesome. Because ultimately, end of the day, a lot of people don't realize that like the jiu-jitsu community, and the martial arts community is like what you see on TV is not what it actually is, like right. everybody's generally pretty cool.
Yep.
And they all start somewhere. Yeah. And even the most uncoordinated, unathletic people they find their strengths and they find what works for them,
Yeah. Well, like I consider myself unathletic and uncoordinated, but I had to make myself. I got there not by any kind of like talent. It was by like my own like heart and wanting to be there and like working really hard at what I wanted to do. Like
and finding your strengths.
Yeah, no, I'm not like physically coordinated or athletically gifted in any way. Like I'm just somebody who wanted it really bad.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what you are, not sitting on the couch making excuses. You're not doing that. That's right. For sure. like, yeah, like, oh, okay, I'm not this, that, and the other, but this is what I am, and this is what I'm gonna do, and I don't care what you think about me, because at least I'm helping myself and helping others, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So what would you say to anyone, whether they're male, female, or whatever?
Yeah.
If they're scared to come to the gym, what would you say?
Man, I mean, like, as martial arts in general has kind of like saved my life, really. Like, no matter what area of your life you're trying to improve, right? If you want to feel more confident, if you want to get into shape, if you want to
be around
feel
people
like,
who aren't going to judge you.
Yeah, make
be around
friends.
People, yeah, be around people who have, like, you walk into a gym, you're going to meet 100 different people that do different things.
All different kinds of people, right? And it's not like,
it's not
and you're gonna make friends with people that you wouldn't typically go out and like think that you're gonna make friends with, right? Because they're gonna be people from all walks of life, all different ages, all different like
ethnicity,
backgrounds, like, like income, like, there's like rich people, poor people, there's everybody, and you're gonna find your own common ground.
That's right.
Yep.
Christy, where did your journey start?
Oh man.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, Christy's scared of cats, guys.
Okay. Don't even, that's a whole other podcast.
It is.
So join us for that one. I've got some reasons.
Yeah.
So I was a Division I athlete. I played soccer in college.
Soccer in college. Okay.
So it was a team sport. And I was like, I played a little bit with the Sounders, and I was like, I went to grad school. So I hung up my cleats, and I was like, I'm literally never playing again. I'm going to go out on top. Like, it's the best I've ever been. Haven't touched a soccer ball since then. And that was the year I started jiu-jitsu.
Wow.
But in that interim, I had played for 26 years and I didn't know like my life without it. So I started just like hanging out, like drinking and like doing drugs casually, and just like, eventually I was like, my life is just going to shit right now. So, I wanted to try like a sport that was an individual sport where like I was accountable to myself. And even though it is very much a team sport now that I see it, but at the time I was like, okay, I was like, I don't want to get kicked in the face. I don't want to get hit in the head. So I was like looking up sports I could do, and then jiu-jitsu popped up. And then I met this guy, Professor Doug, at work, who brought me to the school. But so that's how it started. And for me, it was crazy because Amy wasn't there yet. I've gone through like my whole belt system with Amy. We got promoted together almost every stripe since white belt.
Wow.
Yeah, which is cool. But she started somewhere else in a different time. So when I came in, there was only two girls, Rilla and Chrisanne. Well, and then Cindy was at Seattle, but Rilla and Chrisanne were ahead of me, blue belts. But I come out of college and professional sports already. So I was like, I was trained and I was strong and I was like super aggressive. I was like that asshole white belt that everyone's like, white belts are hurricanes. You don't know what they're doing next. I had no control. I just knew I was going to go 120%. Right. And so the girls those two girls hated me at the time. And they'll say that, like, they yelled at me frequently. They'd be like, I didn't know what I was doing. I probably almost broke both Christian's knees once. Just, so I didn't know. I'm like, so,
Christian Sapp?
Yeah. And she's like one of my best friends now, but like she had to have because she's quite a bit older than me too. She had to have like multiple talks with me about calming the fuck down.
Yeah, like, hey man, listen. So I appreciate your energy, but like, I can't do this.
So, but other than that, like I go to Seattle, there was never another girl there. And then I met Cindy, and she was a black belt, and I was like, I've never even seen a female black belt before in my life.
You didn't know they existed.
It's like a fucking unicorn. Yeah. And then of course they're just like, you go with her. I'm like, oh, I'm going to show this bitch. So I'm like, I don't know, I'm like 150 and you were like 120 or something. I'm like way, way bigger than her. So I was just like, I'm going to go for it. And then she not only beat me, but just make sure I felt crushed. Like literally just put me in my place so hard. It was the most humbling experience ever. And then I was just so bummed about it. And I think like since then we've talked about how competitive it was for girls. Like there's only two of you.
Right.
And like everyone looks at you and they're like, which one of you is better? Or like you guys go to, and it actually puts us against each other all the time. Like, and I think I'm really good friends with these are two of my best friends now, but going through the ranks with Amy, but always having Cindy as this like person I have to like try to be as good at or like beat someday. It was like, it's a weird feeling. It's like, I don't know why I felt that way, but I was like, I have to beat Cindy. I have to beat Cindy. And like, that was my goal. It was a weird goal to have. And even with Amy, I was telling her like the first time she came out of MMA. I had no idea. So she walked in with a couple stripes and a white belt. I had a white belt, but I had been beating these upper belts just because I'm stronger than them. And then she smashed me because she had done wrestling and all this stuff. And I cried. I went home and cried. I was like, what happened? My coach called me home. He's like, it's okay. She's an MMA fighter. You're fine. And I'm like, no. But it's just a weird thing. Like, I don't know if you guys experience that too, but it's like we're pitted against each other constantly. And it was like something we had to overcome in order to train together. Because it was just a weird feeling all the time.
There is that thing with women
It was.
Now it seems to be more like jiu-jitsu is becoming bigger. More women are coming into the gym, more like moms. And
like self-defense.
Yes, and coming into train. And so now there's a lot more culture where people just want to train. I feel like, I don't know if maybe like our views have evolved since the old days, or if it's just now like.
And also like not everyone's as competitive. Like we were all competing to like Amy and I have gone to all our competitions together. And now Cindy and I go to all of ours together. So we're constantly competing. So we're just at a different maybe level than some of the other people were. Yeah. But like even then, like you would never know going to Worlds. Like I would go to Worlds having never competed against somebody my weight in my belt. I just didn't know. So except guys, that's different, right? So it's like, you just never know. You get there and you're like, I have no idea what it's going to feel like to go against somebody in my class. Because how would I know? There's no one out there. So it's been an interesting journey, but it's been so fun. Yeah.
And if you'd have gone back and done something different, what would you have done different?
Oh man, so many things. I think first of all, I would just like breathe through my nose.
Breathe through your nose? That's important.
Dude, if I could tell any white belt, just breathe through your nose or just don't breathe at all, but like do something different.
Stop doing whatever you are trying to do. Don't do that. Whatever you want to do, don't do it.
Just breathe, calm down. But I think I would have tried to be like, well, I don't know, because my competitive spirit has gotten me really far in life, but I think it took me like 8 years to like not be competitive. I'm still competitive with Cindy when we're training, but not like look at her like this person I have to take out for some reason. Like, you know what I mean? Like I would have like to embrace, like literally pulled her aside and had like the humbleness to like be like, hey, can you help me? Not like, I'm not going to show you my secrets. So I have more secrets and then I'm going to take them out on you. Like it was funny. But we trained together a whole career. So that was good. But
have you ever, so you've competed at Worlds, Pans, Fight to Win, like a lot of the big shows. Like what was your most like eye-opening like what was the experience you had in competition where you went, wow, all of this really paid off? When was that?
I don't know.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
This all really paid. I think every time is its own like situation like that. I've won Masters World 3 times.
You're a Masters World Champion 3 times. Yeah. That's something you just say lightly. So, okay. World champion grappler 3 times. It's not something you say lightly. Thank you.
Yeah. But each time is a different thing. Like it's a whole mental game to get over. It's a weight cut. It's having my friends with me. Fight to Win was pretty cool though. I think having your hand raised with all those people around, like hitting the table and like screaming for you. And it's
a good show.
And it's a good show.
And it's like everyone watches.
You're the only match going on.
You're the only match. You're on
20,000 plus people are watching you.
Yeah. So I think that was one point where I was like, this feels professional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like really, I got my walkout song, like, and my friends from work bought tables to come watch.
Yes.
And so that's probably the highlight where I'm like, this is really cool. But I think overall, like just being able to manage the preparation and then overcoming every obstacle you get in. There was one Worlds where I was losing the final by like 12 points and I was underneath this girl and I was like, I'm not getting out. I was like, this, And then in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, I guess I got like to second place, so that's cool. And then there was like a minute left, and I was like, you know what, fuck that. And I got out and armbarred her with like 10 seconds left in 11.
Yeah.
And I was like, and that was one of those things where it's like, you just have to take control of your destiny. Like I could have made that choice at that time to just go with what I was thinking, which was like, well, I'm tired. Like, this is hard.
The Hail Mary.
Yeah. And then
I've been there.
Yeah. You just find it.
You're like, fuck, I'm drowning. Oh my gosh, I'm losing. Well, at least I'm going to get second. But like, I got a minute left. Like, oh, I think I can muster some bullshit.
Yeah. You're like not worried about
the ship is sinking anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, what can I do? And then, you pull one out.
Yeah.
Off. But that's the thing about jiu-jitsu is like,
so it's so awesome about
you'd
it.
be surprised what you can catch people in. I've been there where I was losing 28-0 by some strong, tough, younger MMA guy, and I armbarred him at the last second.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like,
That's the best part about
that's
the sport.
why technique is important.
There's always a Hail Mary. You're like,
yeah.
I'm going for it.
Yeah. I
Technique
wanted
is
a little more than
important.
you do. Just willing it.
Yeah.
Cindy,
Yes.
there's a lot that we're going to talk about, but I want to piggyback on all this. Like for you, like what would you, like you being a girl, like started in 2000.
2000.
Oh,
Like
At
you be,
Marcelo's.
like you being a girl in the game from the beginning, pretty much. Like let's hear the story.
Well, definitely when I started, there weren't any other girls.
No.
At my gym.
Zero.
There would be like maybe someone's girlfriend would come in and then
Yeah.
probably wasn't the girlfriend and then never came back.
Yeah.
Right? I do, like Christy was talking about, remember kind of whenever there would be a girl, I remember a story, like one time I went to a bar and that's where I met Rodrigo. I'd heard about Rodrigo and I met Rodrigo and Greg.
Oh, yeah. That's so great.
Greg tells me he knows a girl who can beat me. I was like, well, where is she?
I love
And he's
that.
like, she'll be training tomorrow. I was like, okay, I'll be there.
Where is
I'll be there.
Cindy was excited. A girl? Where?
Yeah, a purple belt girl. There's a purple belt. That was a blue belt. And I was
Okay.
like, who is this girl? I want to meet this girl. And so I went to Ballard the next day, hungover, met the girl.
Yeah.
And I will second the feeling that Christy said is I think it was really hard because it was like already set up where there's like, who's best? Who's best
Yeah.
between
They were
these two
waiting.
girls?
They wanted
Yeah.
it.
And I totally bought into it. I was like, fuck that girl.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm going to be better.
Yeah.
Right. I was very, very competitive. And I think, you know, in retrospect, actually maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, I went and talked to that girl and was like, I'm really sorry that was the way it went down because we trained at the same gym, but pretty much never trained together after the first few months.
Oh.
Right. There was kind of a pattern established and then we really never trained again.
Oh, wow.
So we have trained since then, like in the more present tense, and kind of talked about that because I kind of saw that. And I don't think that anyone really meant for that to happen, but it's like kind of I'll see that sometimes with kids when there's like two very good kids and people start kind of like, oh, who's going to win? It's kind of that natural tendency.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, I don't really try to buy into that anymore because
Right.
I don't think that's the healthy like way to go about it. But I also will say, I remember when I've met Christy, trained with Christy, but the first time that I really remember hanging out with Christy was at one of the trips at Master Worlds in Las Vegas when we were staying at a timeshare and we were playing ping pong. And I was like, holy fuck, this girl's actually more competitive than I am. I was like, I think I've met my match. I don't like, she wants to win this ping pong game possibly more than I want to win it because I really want to win it too. Right? And I don't meet people like that. And that, I have a few girls that I train with that are that way, that it's like really nice because we can train in that really hard way, but there's no like emotional issues, right, that I need to contend with. I remember I remember being just like Christy when I was like the enthusiastic white belt, trying to do the best I could, show everyone I should be in the room, right? And kind of like, I'm going to go up and beat up the girl. You think there's a girl that's good? I'm going to go show you that I can be there.
I'm going to show you.
And I was definitely like, I've had many girls tell me they were like totally afraid of me. And I'm like, what do you mean? I was just like trying super hard, right? I was just out there trying really hard.
Yeah.
Had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
Just seeing if my jiu-jitsu works.
I was like a smoker, drank a lot, partier.
Smoked,
Yeah.
drank, partied.
Yeah.
And fought.
was just like, dude,
Did
I
you
just
like throw up red Gatorade after you had that?
with Michelle, right? Yeah, with that. I went to Ballard. I beat the girl, and then they immediately put another guy, a brown belt guy, and he crushed me. And
Wow.
I knew it was going to happen. And I went to the bathroom,
my God.
threw up a bunch of Gatorade, came back out, got crushed.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
just like, dude, this is awesome, right? This is great. So yeah, I think there's just a lot of lessons to learn, like kind of in all of those experiences of like kind of how you want to do things, how maybe you'll do things in retrospect, kind of seeing like power dynamics and just like social dynamics and seeing how those interplay in on the mat, right? And then like, I've definitely gone back to different people. I competed against a girl that, now that I'm older, I think being older makes me look at things in a different way, right? I remember competing against this girl and she was like 40 something at the time. And I was probably about 30. Didn't really think anything about age, and I mauled her, right? And she was one of the best in the world at the time. My first no-gi tournament, I was like, what the fuck? Right? What the fuck was that? What the hell? And then I kind of like, now that I'm like almost 50 and I get like those young girls and they like want to maul me, I'm like, God damn it, I hate you. And then I've gone back and been like, dude, I'm sorry I attacked you. Right? I remember that. Remember when you were 45 and I was 30 and I attacked you? Sorry. Right?
Yeah.
I've like had those discussions with people that are now my friends. And I'm like, you probably thought I was a jerk.
Well, when you're 23 years ago, right? 23 years ago is a lifetime for a lot of people, right? When you started a martial art that came off of like when Hoist Gracie was winning the UFC and stuff, like being a female, I can't imagine, of course, I'm a male, right? I can't imagine like the mindset a female would have to have coming into a sport where it's like, I got to compete against men, right? I got to train with men, right? And I cannot just, I want to do this. I want to do this. How do I do this? However they expect me to, because you say Greg says, oh, I have a girl that I think can beat you. And you're like, bitch, let's go, right? like tell me where to be, drunk or not, hungover or not. And you went and you performed because it wasn't a matter of like, oh, this is not a problem. This is just a casual like jiu-jitsu training session. It was like, this is my nemesis.
Yeah,
right?
no, it was not casual for me.
Exactly.
It was not casual.
Because even if it could have been like everybody was expecting you to fucking
no one.
show
I don't
up.
think most of the people in the room. It wasn't casual. It was a bunch of
And
crazy
that's
people.
intimidating.
Yeah, it was a bunch of crazy people. My
That's
first
right.
tournament was against a dude. Right, my mom was there. It was terrible. I got smashed. I got like basically like camel clutched. It wasn't even a real fucking move. Right? It was a guy I trained with. It was a guy I trained with. It was a guy I trained with. He was brand new. His parents were there. His girlfriend was there.
Oh my God.
Right?
Were you guys the
He
same
was
weight?
like, no.
Okay.
He was like 180 pounds. I was like,
God.
did I just join a gang? What the fuck happened? Right? It was like an in-house smoker. I'm like, I don't even know what's happening to me. I don't think he knew what was happening. People were screaming. And I think he was just like, I don't want to lose. And I get it. And I was just like, I fucking don't know what the fuck I want. But then, like, maybe a few months later, there was like another smoker, like, in-house tournament at Nickerson Street, Marcella's school on Nickerson
Marcella's,
Street.
yeah.
And there was a girl there. And I mauled her. I was like, oh, this is way easier than like a
Finally.
180-pound dude that was like not going to be showing up in front of his whole family.
God.
Right?
Dude.
So it was just, I was just like, I just want to be in the room. And, I don't hold any grudges, but I don't think a lot of people wanted girls in the room then.
Yeah.
Right? I know they didn't.
But
They were
that's
pretty
not-
open about it.
it's
Right?
not-
It was
Yeah.
like,
But that was then?
that was
Yeah,
then. I
yeah.
think now it's totally different. Way different. Right?
And just we want to reiterate to any female watching this podcast right now that has any opinion or any like thought about going to a jiu-jitsu school, should they even consider thinking about it or just fucking do it?
They should just do it. And if you find one that is not welcoming to girls, go to another one. 'Cause
Exactly.
There's
You're
plenty of other options, right? Then there weren't a lot of options. And I just think it was just new to everyone.
Yeah.
No one really knew what was going on.
They
Right?
No one.
No one-
Even
no
the
one knew what-
guys.
even
You
the
were
guys didn't know.
Oh, we're watching this from TV, Bloodsport and Jean-Claude. Like they thought like, oh, now it's like, actually, no, it's not that.
Yeah, I remember
not
like
helping.
Brian Ford was in the early days and we would all just be like, the guy would be showing the moves. None of us spoke Portuguese. We're just watching and like doing our best, right? Like no one really knew what the fuck was going. You kind of grab their head like that and squeeze. Okay.
Okay.
All right,
cool.
I think probably like
Right?
like girls that like when you started, you were a competitive person. Like
Yeah.
it probably took that to join a school of men and put yourself in there.
Yeah.
But like I've learned from you and the experiences you went through to get there and the experience I went through to get there. Like I would definitely have passed on to people after me. And I think it's just gotten better.
Yeah.
And I have no problem talking to guys and be like, hey, that was a little aggressive. Like you didn't need to do that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or like, and then just tell my partner if it helps them too. Is it a good or a bad role? Like, did you just smash me because you were afraid to lose? And so you just decided to like throw me off of you or like, you know, and I think it's good to learn. It's good for both parties to learn. And it's just become a much more welcoming place.
Yes.
Well, I think the
Most of the time.
techniques and the teaching style has been refined because I don't even really think it's there is a girl component to it. But I think there are guys in the room that are like, dude, I don't like to have some giant crush me or you're brand new. And I think there's guys that are scared to come and join jiu-jitsu, right? I know they are.
They are.
And so it's like, trying to create an environment where it's the most efficient way to train and the best and safest way to train with like still getting really good technical results, right? And I think as the sport grows and more professionalism and just, maybe more athletes from either other sports and like coaching styles and coaching techniques that maybe weren't there, right, in the beginning, that all of those things with money in the sport, all of these things make it more refined, kind of more civilized, and then that makes it more accessible to people. So it's just, I feel lucky to have been on the early wave
Innovation.
of it. And then
You were a part of it.
yeah, now
early
just
on.
seeing what it's grown to be and seeing how, I think it's a really valuable thing for like everyone to experience if they want to. So it's good. I try to, with my gym, I was a very competitive person. I don't really run my gym that way anymore.
I know.
I try to like, dude, I want whatever your goal is in jiu-jitsu, that's what I want to be here to help you.
Me too. And
even I almost gear towards the less competitive, right? It's like all the people who don't maybe fit in other sports, maybe don't fit in somewhere else. Dude, if you can find those people and turn them on to something and give them that skill and then kind of watch them evolve into a person who is super confident, maybe not athletic, but is like smashing people, that's cool, right? I see that as like the biggest win in coaching. It's like if you have a great athlete, those people are fun to work with, but it's a a little easier. Right. So when you can just bring everyone. Yeah.
Meeting people where they're at.
And it's like, you don't need, I don't need more medals. I just like to have people be super happy and enjoy grappling. Right. And like the things that I like look back and think of like kind of some of maybe the ways I did things. And it's like, how could I change that to make people really want to be in the room more? Right. As the goal. Like I see that's for
leadership.
Me, the biggest win.
Leadership.
Yeah.
Leadership's more important than medals.
Yeah.
Because like medals are just clout bragging rights. But at the end of the day, what are you really doing? Like that's a selfish way to think, right? Like I'm not talking about like your own medals.
Yeah.
We want to
In
go get
general.
our own medals because like
In general.
just like, I expect you to win me medals.
Yeah.
No, I do have those students that want to bring home the medals. And I tell them like, hey, it's going to happen. It's okay. Right. And if you want to win medals, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
Off to the side. But for the 90% of the rest of my students who just want to learn and exercise and be a part of something social, yeah, we're there. That's the most important.
Yep.
That is the most important because
And that's
I want
the
to help
longevity
people.
of it too, right?
We want to help people, and it makes us feel good, like you just said. Take someone who's not an athlete, not a killer, and then they become something more than just a jiu-jitsu practitioner. They take it in their real life and it adds value to their life. That's what's important.
Yeah. The ability to do hard things. You see like
Carry
people who have
yourself
never really been
differently.
pushed to that. Like, hey, here's what you can really accomplish, right? I'm not going to let you just kind of do this. You could do that, but if you push a little harder, you can get farther. And when you see people kind of embody that or kind of embrace that and then accomplish things is really nice.
Or there's a lot of things in life, society out there that is hard. However, when they do jiu-jitsu and they practice jiu-jitsu and then they see that they're around people who are in the same boat as them, correct? Okay. And they're doing something that everyone else is doing and they're growing together. we're getting the hard part out of the way for them in the gym. And then when they go out there, the job ain't so hard.
Yeah.
Right? The paying the bills ain't so hard. Like, and then they have people they can lean on.
Yeah.
You know, because I mentor a lot of people, not just in jiu-jitsu, but like in business. You know, I run businesses. I've been in doing. I can go on and on and on about business, but like I have even subcontractors that work for my construction companies that come to me for advice, and I help them, right? And they can do the hard work. They just need the help with the steps, and that's jiu-jitsu. Like they can do the hard work. Some of them don't think they can until they do it, and you say, yeah, good job. You know, yeah. You know, and before you know it, 6 months has gone by. They're a 3-stripe white belt, and you're giving them the 4th stripe, and you look at them and say, good job. That blue belt's coming. You're putting in the work. You're showing up. You're helping your friends. It's that simple.
Yep.
It really is. It's not this like impossible thing, right, ladies? It's not this impossible thing. You know, and not even that. I'll take it a step further. It's a real thing that is more rewarding than most anything out there. Yeah. It's way more rewarding than going to the bar all the time. It's definitely more rewarding than doing drugs. You know, like it to a lot of people, it's more rewarding than their own job. Because I have people that come do jiu-jitsu, blah, blah, blah. They train, they meet people, they talk. And then they just realize like, actually, the job I'm doing, I'm not appreciated enough. I could do better. And I had a student say, I quit my job, I bought a business. And I'm like,
nice.
Yeah. And then a couple months goes by and he's like, I have this thing. I got this business, I got this. What's your opinion, Shannon? You should raise your prices. What? Like, yeah, you should raise your prices. Don't just hit them over the head with like, oh, I'm raising my prices. Like, give them some justification. Show them that you're worth paying for those prices. And it worked. And he was like blown away by that. I was like, I know, isn't it crazy how that works?
Just confidence.
Confidence, but also competence, right? So the confidence is the feeling you have before you go into something. Yeah. But when you have confidence, because you know if you can do one of the hardest things in the world, you can do this. And believe it or not, like life is not that hard. Most people make it hard up here. Same with jiu-jitsu. Walking through the door is one of the hardest things to do.
Oh, for sure.
Especially as a female, right? And you know, we have the women's only class that Sari does. And that's great because you know how many girls have come in and like terrified to do jiu-jitsu, but now they have this safe space. And,
a little
in their mind,
stone.
even though they don't know that the class is safe, the men are safe. But like, you know what? Like, let's not like try to like, let's not say, oh, you're wrong for thinking that. Like, no, you're in a safe space. And then they figure it out on their own. Because if you help people learn how to teach themselves and how to, because man, early on, people have that stripped away from them. They have this perspective of what they think things are, whether they're that way or not, because they hear the noise. They see the fucking things on bad news television or this, that, and the other. But then you teach them how to teach themselves. Cindy, you know what I'm talking about. We can't teach anybody how to be 100% jiu-jitsu. We show them some stuff and then they figure it out on their own, right?
Yep. Yeah, you show them basic concepts and then they develop and create the moves for themselves, right?
And then we tell them that.
Yeah.
Like, this was you. This is me. I'm just here helping you.
Yeah, creating the space for you to learn all the stuff and achieve your potential.
Creating the space, showing you little tricks and tricks and tips on the way, helping you build the foundation. Foundation, you build the rest of the house.
Yep.
That's awesome teaching. Like, I think that's where it should go. Not everyone does that, but like letting people like explore jiu-jitsu themselves once you have the basics is so cool to me because it's like an art and is like, you know, you can develop what works for you. And you know, I do this with Cindy and she'll be like, I haven't done it quite like that before, but that's working. Like that works. That's neat, you know? And I'll be like, I just thought of that. Like,
that's how you create your own style, right?
Like Cindy is like the queen of that too. She just is like, I'll come in after like not seeing her for 2 weeks. She's like, I've been working on this. And I'm like, what? And it's like the nastiest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, you just like thought of this in your sleep this week? Or like, it's crazy. It's so cool. I like love that about jiu-jitsu.
Yes, because you're human beings are engineered to learn.
Yeah, trial, like beta testing.
Trial and error.
Trial and error.
To figure things out.
Yeah.
And we like, our brain is designed to be able to like be inquisitive.
Yep.
And like try things in a safe environment, make a mess, make mistakes. Same with kids, children education. If you solve every problem for kids as they're growing up, they have a problem, you just fix it for them. When they become 18, 20 years old, guess what? They don't know how to like
do anything.
Be a critical thinker. Yeah. They don't have confidence because they don't have competence. They don't have competence because they don't know how to do anything because someone else did it for them.
Yep.
And that's why I think jiu-jitsu is very important. Any martial art. I won't say any, but most martial arts.
Yeah.
Sports. That's important for children. Very important. Like the village mentality. Watching, doing, messing up. Oh, that was great. Just need to make this adjustment. That's very important for learning. And I feel like a lot of people get that stripped away early on. I mean, we know it. We've seen it.
Yeah.
Get stripped away early on. And then, yes, like coming into the gym, learning jiu-jitsu, a few months goes by, it's going to build a confidence because your brain is already being rewired to do what it's meant to do.
Yep.
Like I love it. I've never seen somebody, I don't want to say that, but very rarely have I seen somebody come into a jiu-jitsu school and after 6 months, they digress everywhere.
Right.
Yeah. Actually got wholly worse. Or whatever. Like, no.
They come in, they're okay, and then now they're on like meth, and they're like, in prison or whatever. Like that's fucking rare. Like your success rate is
the other way.
way more probable if you're doing a said sport with a team around people who got your back, because people, it doesn't matter what race, what sex, what your strengths are. It doesn't fucking matter. We're all the damn same. We have a brain. We have the same organs. We have the same muscles. We're all the same. And we're engineered to live amongst each other, learn from each other, and help each other. I love the village mentality. I always come back to that. Because we've been doing that for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. The village, right? And that's what a jiu-jitsu school is. Am I wrong?
No,
it's a fucking village.
Yeah. Well, people who have, everyone has their own things going on, but once you're in there, it's like a common goal that everyone's kind of reaching for, right? Everyone has their issues, but it's like, okay, when we're in here, this is what we're going towards, right?
And it helps them with their issues.
Yeah.
Because your experience, their experience, all different.
Yep.
And what they're scared of may not be what you're scared of, but you can't tell them that, oh, you shouldn't be scared of that, right? Because it's still scary to them, just like what's scary to you is still scary to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Before jiu-jitsu, I had full-blown agoraphobia, anxiety disorder. Like I had doctors tell me I needed to take a pill and that I needed it for the rest of my fucking life. And then I didn't want to believe it. My wife didn't want to believe it. Thank God for my wife, who does jiu-jitsu, by the way. You guys know Sarah.
Oh, yeah.
Brown belt.
Teaches jiu-jitsu.
Amazing. I don't know where I'd be without her. Not settle for that advice and that opinion. Somebody with an 8-year PhD kept looking and found somebody that says, actually, no, Shannon, you don't need that. No, not at all. I'm going to meet you where you're at, and this is what we're going to work on. And then I remember one day I told him, I was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing a martial art. He was like, oh, you're thinking about it. Tell me more. He's like, oh, I was like, yeah, I saw this video, these guys doing jiu-jitsu, and I don't think I could do it. And he's like, whoa, Shannon, we've been working together how long now? A year and a half. He's like, and everything that you thought you couldn't do, have you done? Yes. You got to do it, dude. You got to do it. And if you want, I'll go with you. And I was like, no.
That's funny.
No, thank you, Steve. I love you, by the way. Steve saved my life. Therapist. Great guy. 70-some years old. Thank you, Steve. But you're right. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go. He's like, all right. Call me. Tell me how it went. And there you have it.
Nice.
It's
so if you're
cool.
somebody who thinks you don't need therapy,
you probably do.
Go. Because as somebody who, it is what you would consider a fairly successful person, it's okay to get help. Real help.
Yep.
If you're not alone, man. Like, we've all had our shit.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it's just like this one little piece of the puzzle missing that, like, boom, they can fill in. They're good at it. And that help could be, your parents may not be able to give you that help. Your friends may not be able to give you that help. Your coworkers may not be able to give you that help. It's okay. Jiu-jitsu school may fill that void, or a therapist. It's okay.
Sometimes you need somebody completely on the outside of the situation.
Telling you what you need to hear.
That you don't
With
know
love.
personally at all. Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, it's okay.
Yep.
So, in Cindy, as a jiu-jitsu practitioner, teacher, a 4-stripe white belt or black belt. Sorry, 4-stripe black belt.
Yes.
I said 4-stripe white belt. 4-stripe black belt.
I feel like it
She was.
sometimes.
Yeah, don't we all? Sometimes I want to take my black belt off and burn it, especially when my 21-year-old white belts give me trouble.
Yes.
But you know what?
heard
Good
that.
for them and good for me
Oh.
Yeah.
for teaching them. So, Cindy, business owner.
Yes.
When you first thought, "Oh, I'm gonna open my business," what was the apprehensive thoughts? What was the fear? What was the, oh man?
Well, I actually opened a couple. Well, I opened one gym. I worked for some people teaching, and I opened a gym and then had to close that gym because I didn't know how to run a business, right?
You knew
So
how
that-
to teach jiu-jitsu.
That was a learning experience. And then going back to the place I left and learning about that and
Okay.
being humble
Mhm.
and then really going like, I need to learn about this side of things and taking the new opportunity, working for someone to be like, really think about like, here's how they're doing it. I'm going to be taking notes and thinking about how to do things differently, you know, learning kind of a bunch of the lessons, being really open to like, hey, I didn't know how to do it. My gym closed.
Mhm.
This gym is open. They're saying here are different ways to do it.
Mhm.
You know, there's a lot of chatter, I feel like, about how school should be. You know, shouldn't be this way, should be that way. I think I came in with preconceived notions of like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be trying to make a lot of money off of this, right? All these things. And then, you know, when I opened my most recent school, I think the smartest thing I did was ask the advice of people around me that I felt were the smartest in business. I didn't go talk to my friends, right? I went and was like, okay, who do I think that I know that aren't going to tell me maybe what I want to hear or like, you know, an emotional answer, but like, how do I value a business? I don't know how to buy. Someone's offering me to buy a business, but how do I even determine the value of a business, right? I didn't know how to do that. So I think, you know, rather than thinking about like, I want this and I want to buy it, that's not the way you make
So,
good investments.
Emotional decisions sometimes aren't very good, right?
Yeah. And like trying to just like
Logical, mathematical.
Pragmatic.
decisions. Pragmatic.
right?
Yeah.
Getting information, understanding I know how to do jiu-jitsu. People come to me to teach me jiu-jitsu or have me teach them jiu-jitsu. I need to learn some business. Right? I still didn't feel like I had that. And finding like someone that I felt that I could work with, I think was a huge component for me, right? A good partner,
Yep.
because you know, someone could be a great business person, but not the best partner for me,
Right.
right? Those are different hats.
Yep.
And really like having the confidence to be like, no, I need to find the thing that's going to be right for me. What I knew I didn't want to do is start another school and then shut another school down,
Yeah.
right? That's what I knew I didn't want to have to go back and ask for another job or do those kind of things. So I started asking people and started like learning more about business and then found the best business partner for me and then had a plan. And then that plan fell apart, right? Based on like all these other things. And I was like, you know what? I still am on the right path because I still have my same partner and I still like him, right? And so we still have our plan. Our business plan didn't change, right? We're going to have a successful jiu-jitsu gym. Now the parameters have changed, but our kind of mission didn't change. So we just went forward with that. And so that was like really cool to see, oh, these people who I picked as my partner are now like on board through like a bunch of hot mess, right? They didn't like walk away, which was I kind of thought would happen. And was like, I was actually ready to stop jiu-jitsu in that whole process. Like, I'm just going to stop jiu-jitsu. I actually rented a warehouse space in a punk rock warehouse and was like, I'm just going to quit jiu-jitsu. I'm going to go live in a warehouse and ride my bike. Right?
Wow.
I was like, I'm just over this. I'm over this. I'm sick of doing this. And if this isn't going to work out, I'm going to just be done with it and do something different. And then my partner was like, no, we're going to do this other stuff. Just keep on going with me.
So
on
you
this
have
end.
a business partner.
I have a business partner. I actually have 2 business partners that are business partners, right? They have a bunch of businesses. One is my student. One's just a guy. So yeah, I think they're the guys that have really like helped me like really understand the value of things, how to look at like what are the metrics for a successful gym, right? Really like, how do you put a value on the price of the membership? How do you go about selling memberships? How do you go about doing all of these things? And it's a totally different approach than the approaches that I had been taught before.
Yeah.
Right. And I was very apprehensive. I come from a punk rock background where it was like, you shouldn't really charge a lot of money for things. You want to make it really accessible. I was like, I'm a single person and I have no money. I need a business is what I need. Right. And so I just was like, really like, I'm going to believe in what this guy's telling me because he listens to me about jiu-jitsu technique. I'm going to listen to him about business technique. And
you also have intuition,
processes.
right?
Yeah.
So if you have if you have somebody that you've known and you know them as a person, right? And you feel comfortable, and not in a way they tricked you, but in a way that they're organic, right? And they're honest.
Yeah, and they're just sharing information and like not telling me you have to do this. They're just like, here's the ways I've seen it.
Right.
Right? They're not beating me over the head with it. They're like, hey, here's what I've done. Hey, why don't we try that? And then I was open to like, hey, I'll try that. And then I see like, oh, some success in that. And then like, oh, let's try it this way. Let's try this next step that is in conjunction with that. And then just building off the momentum of those successes. It's just like jiu-jitsu. You find a move that works and then you're like, that one works. Now I'm kind of building on to the beginning and the end of that move and more success and the momentum builds. And, that's what I've really seen in my gym. It's like, and I like that it's like, I'm not affiliated with anyone. I have like, if it fails.
Sleeper jiu-jitsu.
It's me.
It's you.
Right?
It's you.
It's like, I'm open to have the people I want in the gym, to have the rules that I want, to have it's like, if it's a terrible culture, it's your fault. If it's a good culture, it's your fault. Right. And I like that kind of pressure, right? It's like, you got to make this work. Right. It's like, if you can just
accountability,
lay it on someone else. Or right. It's like, no, this is all me.
Accountability.
I'm the one here. And it's like, I thrive in those kind of environments and I like that. So it's like, for me, I in this part of my jiu-jitsu journey, I'm very much more focused on the business end of it and like how to be a good coach, how to run a successful business, how to create a great space and like have an enduring gym that like can help me, make it through as an older grappler. Right. And like, to me, that's a whole nother learning of like.
Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
You know that most of your successful gyms are run by older grapplers.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And not just like world champions, even though you're a world champion too, right? Like multi-world champion, but just people who are good leaders, good at connecting with people, teaching jiu-jitsu and making people feel good. Because
I didn't have that mindset.
I know.
I'll be honest.
We all
I was
did
like,
at some point.
I wanted to win, and I was in rooms full of people.
Well, you and I came from
you want to win, and if you don't win, you're not the winner.
You and I
right?
kind of came from the same person, right? We kind of came
and
from
you
the
see,
same,
some of those neurosis that people have. I have those, and and then it's like, hey, that's not really a healthy way to live. It's like talking about going to therapy. It's like, dude, you can beat yourself up and think you need to do all these things, but that's a never-ending battle. And
we still love those people.
Yeah.
And they're really good at jiu-jitsu and fighting and stuff. However, there is an element that they are missing and that, thank God, we
and I just want to be
recognize.
happy too. I'm like, dude, there was points in my life in jiu-jitsu where I was not happy doing jiu-jitsu. And it's like, dude, I did all this to like have a job that I hate. No, thank you.
Right.
No, thank you. Right.
Go through the battle.
And then there was actually a point where I went and got a job, like a regular job last year, regular person job. I thought I might need to get another job and I got one And then I was like, you're such a baby. Your job, your jiu-jitsu job is amazing. And I quit the other job and refocused my energy on jiu-jitsu.
It's okay.
Right? It was great. I was like, that was the best thing you ever did, is go get that crappy ass job.
Sometimes you got to stick your toes in some other water.
Yeah, and be like, you were being a baby.
Yeah, no, fuck
You were being a baby, Cindy.
And then that's awesome. You know, COVID was hard on us too, Cindy.
Oh yeah, COVID was a
Yeah.
hot mess,
And
right?
fucking I opened the gym mid-COVID.
Mid-COVID, yeah.
And you know what crossed my mind many times is the unreasonable, irrational person that's going to walk in here with a mask and demand why I don't have a mask on and blah, 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 blah. And you know what? You know what like helped me kind of like deter that thought was my police officer friends that said, no, if someone comes in here with a mask on and demands that you should have a mask, and just call us, we'll help them.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, you know, it was
They had my
what
back.
a weird fucking
It's an
time.
interesting
What a weird
time.
fucking
What a weird time. I was like, you
In
know,
more ways than just
you know what I was thankful of, and this will sound terrible, and I apologize, and I appreciate
don't apologize.
everyone who worked hard and did everything they needed to do to get through COVID. I appreciate you, but goddamn it, I was like, I got beat up for 20 years. And now I'm gonna have to wrestle a grappling dummy and pretend it's jujitsu. And
Right.
right. I was like, or do a goddamn Zoom class.
They started doing the Zoom.
Right?
and
I
I'm
was
like,
just like, I'm like, are we gonna do that?
Zoom classes
I'm
are
not
bad.
training in a square.
I didn't. I like
Oh,
literally
yeah,
didn't
square
have
one.
doing the
that.
solo
right?
drills.
I didn't
was
go through all this stuff to do that.
Yeah.
You know, and I did do a couple Zoom classes with the little kids, but I let them do it. And we just watched YouTube videos and like did like weird YouTube PE
hard
stuff.
fucking time.
And I was just like, dude, we only did it because I was like, do you guys want to do this? But really, they just wanted to chat. Right? The kids just wanted to kind of chat.
Yeah.
Kids,
I was like, I'm not gonna
kids are little
yell
learners.
at people and like tell them to get off the dummy or
And
whatever. I'm
then
not doing.
all this time we learned that like if anyone, the kids were the one that could come do class and not be affected
No
by
problems.
COVID. Yeah, like
Yeah.
shit, dude.
Dude,
But
it's still,
it
I
was
still
rough.
grapple with, you know, people tell me, I get like the email that people had COVID. I'm like, it's still like, you know, I try to be really sympathetic
Right,
and
we do.
understanding.
Yeah.
I am understanding. You know, I have a dad that's old and sick and I don't want to give him COVID. You know?
Right.
I actually went and spent, was like, oh, I almost gave my dad COVID because I had COVID, you know? And it's like, dude, I don't want to do those things. And I understand, but it's like, yeah, what a mess. What a mess.
Fucking shit show.
What a mess, right?
Yeah,
And
but here
for
we are.
gyms,
Here we are.
and now I think more people want to do jiu-jitsu.
Oh,
Yeah.
It
Right?
exploded
Yeah.
after that somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, people are like, I want someone to slap me in my mouth and like breathe on me because I haven't touched anyone. Right?
Yep.
So like I can say this now because we're past it, but like during COVID, Rodrigo called me, you know, right? And he's like, Shannon, hey, what are you doing, man? Like, oh, nothing much. What's up, professor? He's like, hey, are you training anywhere? I'm like, yeah, I'm training somewhere.
It's all quiet. We're all doing that.
He was like, are you training with Jason? I was like, nah, Jason's like, he's kind of closed down, you know, he's kind of worried. He's in the sequel. Not training with him, but some buddies and I are getting together and training. Oh, what's up? Are you training, professor? Where are you training? He's like, Shannon, we're open, man. Just don't tell anyone. Come in. I'm like, all right, I'll be right there. I'll see you Monday, professor. He's like, all right, cool. And so, you know.
That's so funny.
But Seattle gym, you know, it's like in the industrial, no windows. You walk through
Yeah.
you walk through a dark, scary hallway, look up the
Yeah.
stairs. Like, that's like, it's all good. And you're like, yeah, fuck COVID.
People life.
And then
Yeah.
how many of us got COVID? Like 3?
Yeah, that's true.
That's
Not
it.
many.
And I never took that fucking vaccine. You know, whatever. I don't blame people that did, but I never did. And when I did get COVID, guess when I got COVID? What was the variant? Omicron.
Can I keep track of what
Like
they
a
did?
year, a little over a year ago.
Yeah, when
Omicron.
everybody got it. Yeah.
The one that was like, hey,
Yeah.
this is nature's vaccine.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I got that one. I had it for one day. I had Omicron. I got the chills, the body aches and stuff. And I called my naturopathic doctor. I used a couple of naturopaths. And she was like, Shannon, okay, here you go. Here's your prescription. There's the place. Go get it. I'm like, all right. And Sari went and picked it up for me. Or actually, my buddy Duncan went and picked it up. Ivermectin. So I took it immediately for 5 days straight. And I don't know if it works or not, but my COVID went away after the first day and my symptoms didn't get worse.
I still never got COVID.
Yeah.
I haven't either.
Yeah,
I
you
never
know,
got the shot either.
Yeah. And you know, I know it was a big deal, and I know a lot of people got really sick, and there was a lot of factors, skin color, how overweight you are, like just your chemical makeup, whatever. But I was glad that I was able to train through COVID with a lot of people who were also like, hey, you know what? We understand the risk, just like jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You can go here and get hurt. It's kind of the same thing. And we made it through. Because a lot of people like quit for years. And
I didn't train. Well, I didn't train through COVID because I'm a first responder, so I was like exposed constantly. So I didn't, and then you never knew. Like, so I didn't want to expose anyone else. So I literally didn't train for a year and a half. Yeah,
I get it. And a lot of people had that responsibility. Doctors, nurses.
Yeah, I didn't train for like 9 months, and then I was like,
because we were around it constantly. Though, like that wouldn't have even been.
It was
fair.
working. Yeah.
I didn't stop at all.
It went through.
It happened. Issaquah shut down. I went and trained at another gym. He's a very good jiu-jitsu grappler, by the way. And then Rodrigo called me and like felt me out. I felt him out. He's like, now we're training. I'm like, oh, you ready?
That's so funny. It's just so Catholic. Are you training? Are you training? Are you
doing?
Yes, no, yes, no. What are you doing? Yeah.
How's it going?
Where were you yesterday?
But dude, but consider this too. Like that's your livelihood, your gym, your business.
That's true.
And at the end of the day, we sign a fucking waiver. It's our choice if we want to be there or not.
Yeah.
We're not forcing anyone to be there. Like, so just like go do jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
Go do jiu-jitsu if you want. It's up to you. But no, like so now you got through all the bumps. You had some bumps. We've all been there, Cindy.
Yeah.
You have a jiu-jitsu school and you wouldn't change it for the world.
No.
Exactly.
Super happy.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I'm like, oh, I should have been doing this the whole time, right? Should have learned these lessons a long time ago. Better get moving on it now.
So what would your advice be to somebody who's considering opening a business that's passionate about what they do?
My advice for that would be to understand your own worth and, right? Understand that you can do it and that imposter syndrome is a thing. Yeah. But if you want to do it, you should go out and do it. And people will tell you can't, but you can, right? I have friends that have started gyms that are blue belts, purple belts, right? And
they're fucking
and they got
it.
the best gyms, right? And it's like, dude, people to say all kinds of things. And if you're a good leader and you're passionate and you want to do jiu-jitsu, it's a great income. It's a great job opportunity. I never was able to really realize that until I had my own business. And it's like, dude, this is a completely viable business opportunity. And like I said, I wish I would have really understood how to do it much earlier. I should have been more open to learning those lessons. But,
so mentorship on business.
Yeah, mentorship on business and like really choosing very wisely the people that really have your best interest. I think oftentimes I was focused on not feeling like I fit in and maybe putting more of my focus on like proving that I should be there than being like, no, I'm already here and I can do this just as good as you can.
Dr.
Right?
And I
So
that.
It's just like those kind of things that it's like, I don't fault anyone else. It's like really most of my stumbles, I think I'll put squarely on myself where it's like, you just didn't have the confidence in that to be like, no, fuck you. I'm going to do this on my own.
What is that imposter syndrome that you were talking about? I've never heard
where
that
you
term.
think like, everyone's going to know I'm not very good at this. I shouldn't be doing it. Right? I still feel that way.
I do that. Yeah.
Everyone's going to think my jiu-jitsu is no good.
Yeah.
Right? Now I'm just like, dude, if you don't like my jiu-jitsu, I really, there's nothing better I can do for you.
Yeah.
Let me just
point.
make this very fucking clear right now. For what it's worth, coming from me, I don't know how credible you think I am as a business person, as a jiu-jitsu fucking practitioner. I've competed a lot on the big stage. You're one of the best jiu-jitsu grapplers in the fucking world. Your technique is hands down some of the best in the world. Girl or boy, doesn't fucking matter. You've been doing this since 2000.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know a person in the United States aside from Eric Dahlberg and maybe Ivan Salivary, who's been doing this since, and Rodrigo, that's been doing this since 2000. I don't.
Yeah.
And then you had to be the only girl for how long? So muscle and strength wasn't going to do it for you. Like you had to be technical. Your technique is amazing. And the way you teach it, the way you can like connect with people and help them see like imposter syndrome. You're so good. You're afraid to admit it. It's, you know what I mean? You're so good, you're afraid to admit it. And for what it's worth, like, here's me telling you that, like, you're one of the best fucking jiu-jitsu grapplers in the fucking world. And you're a great teacher.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I rolled with you as a white belt and was like absolutely fucking blown away that it was even remotely close to possible. And that was one of the things that contributed to my, I'm going to do this. Getting beat up by Eddie, Jorge, you, and then meeting Dahlberg and going, like, I don't want to get like, you know, like holy shit. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Thank you for having a school.
Yeah.
No kidding.
You know, thank you for like, anybody I know in the community knows Cindy Hales.
That's why her grand opening was packed. Like literally everyone in this area in the Northwest who's done jiu-jitsu has like been impacted by Cindy's experience. Like literally every single one of us. It's nuts.
And there's memes out there to say, oh, you know, people who are really educated and experienced in their field, competent people are actually insecure about it. They're the ones that are insecure. They have to get like a second opinion from their colleagues, their peers, their board of advisors. It's the people who are stupid who think they know every fucking thing. Mm-hmm. And they'll tell you. It's Dunning-Kruger syndrome. They think they know something and they want to feel smart. So they'll tell you something, even if it's bullshit or not. Like, you're I'm telling you right now, it's not a bullshitter. You're one of the best jiu-jitsu grapplers in the fucking world. It's amazing.
I think that like anxiety I have is probably one of the reasons I got very good.
I know.
Right? I think that's why I look at like people who I see are successful and it's like, oh, you're the same kind of neurotic, crazy person.
Yes!
Right? So it's like, you know, having some like
I had anxiety too because we care too, Cindy.
Yeah.
We care.
Well,
we
it's
worry.
like, I want to do a good job. I want to do
We don't
all
want
of
to
these
hurt people.
things.
We don't want to fail them.
Yeah.
We don't want to lead them astray. It's anxiety. It is.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was agoraphobic at one point.
But I think you want to have that tension. Like you talk about like people wanting to like medicate you. I had that and it's like, no. You want to, I think that tension and like anxiety, that's a good thing, right? That like fuels people.
Yeah.
Right? I think there's like where it can get out of hand. But for many people, it's like overperformers are usually just compensating for something, right? And it's like, is that bad or good? Sometimes I think that's a very good motivating force.
So let's talk about the anxiety for a second. In my experience as a musician too, I used to sing in a heavy metal band and I looked up to a lot of famous.
Epic.
Isn't that crazy?
Just learned that about you just now, but I believe it.
Well, we'll go there. I'll show
that
you.
Plays.
No, I'm not
Was
kidding.
it a hair band or?
Not hair. Well, some of us
What
had
kind of
hair.
vocalist is like,
Cookie Monster?
No, I could do that, but I could also sing.
Okay.
Yeah, I
That's
have videos.
good.
We'll show you sometime.
Yeah.
But I have listened to many famous heavy metal or just musicians in general that the anxiety, this fear never leaves. But that's one of the things that makes them so good at what they do. Because the people who can just go on stage not giving a fuck, they don't put forth the effort to be as constructive as the people who are so worried, so insecure, so it makes them work even harder to be as good as they can be, right?
Yeah, well, just being able to channel that. Like, I mean, anxiety, like you get into like the health side of it is like your fight or flight system, right? Like, and if you can focus that towards something, you're gonna exceed, like you're gonna succeed in it. And like, but that's like a learned trait too. Like, and I know like we talk to people who are just new at competing and have that fear before the anxiety, and they're like, they're trying to get rid of it, but that's not what you do. Like you take it and then you
figure out how
to
to
something else.
Yeah.
And that's
Accept
it. You just know you're going to feel this way. And that is what's going to make you successful because you felt that. And then you applied it towards something and just let it sit there and eat you. And that's like and that is what anxiety is. And that's what adrenaline is. And you have to focus. It can't just sit there. Like,
that's right.
Yeah.
Wow. And you know, coming out of therapy when I used to have like full blown panic attacks, I don't know how many times I've called 911 in the middle of the night, by the way, with a heart rate of 180 and a blood pressure of 150 over something, feeling like I'm going to die. Full blown panic attack. Like, I don't know how many times I've done that. And then like, as my therapist helped me like overcome that, not combat that, but accept it, learn it, right? Then I'm in judo class with John Holm, rest in peace. He said, and this guy's 70 some years old at the time. He's like, that's your body just priming itself for battle.
Yeah. Yep.
And when he said that, I was like, oh shit. He's right.
Yeah,
Makes
I
sense.
finally got
Something
into like
clicks.
tournaments where I'm like that feeling. It's like, dude, this is what you paid for.
Yeah.
This is the feeling you paid for, right? You did all this stuff for this feeling. Don't try and get rid of it. This is the feeling. This feeling like you want to die. This is the feeling that you're here.
You chose
Otherwise,
this.
you would just be in the gym doing open mat.
Jody says it to me
Right.
at fights too.
Right?
She's always like, this is what you paid for.
Yeah, this is the drug you paid for.
See,
That
I'm
feeling.
gonna toast you that thing.
Dude, once I realized that, and I'm like, dude, that's true.
I'm
Because
doing
I
it.
used to try and be like, calm down,
Yeah.
do this, do. And it's like, no. This is,
What you paid for?
dude, this is the feeling. I don't care if I win or lost.
Yep.
I got that feeling. And there's not a lot of play. Where do you get that feeling?
Right.
You can't fake it.
You can't fake it.
It's
Yeah,
real.
like, I'm about to go fight someone.
Yeah.
Right? Just like MMA fight. Dude, someone's just going to try and kill me.
Yeah.
And I'm willingly,
I'm ready to die.
it's in my calendar to go do that. Right?
I put it in my calendar. Someone's gonna try to kill me on this date.
Yeah.
People are buying tickets to watch you.
Yeah,
Like,
all your friends are gonna watch.
I've
and like,
invited
They
my
might see you
parents.
get murdered.
and it's like I
Wow.
used to try and avoid it, and now it's like, dude, this is
Embrace
what you paid
it.
for.
Part of it,
This
man.
is what it. This
It's
is what,
okay.
And then I try and go on a hike, right? So it's like, okay, you achieve the goal of going on a hike.
Yeah.
The rest of it is who knows.
Oh
what's
man,
gonna
that
happen.
was good.
I swear, like
I'll
every
never
time me
forget
and
that.
Christy like go to tournaments, we always have this conversation like, why are we doing this? Why do we do this to ourselves? What are we doing?
But yeah, it's
We're
good.
like-
We've definitely learned to.
Hold on.
Always go through it
There's a perfect example. You and Christy like questioning each other.
Oh yeah.
every
Tournament.
time.
At a tournament where like your chance of dying is
It's
like
usually
almost
like
zero,
the day
right?
before
Okay?
when we're like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
We're like, well,
But-
that's because we're like sitting in a hot tub at like 6 o'clock in the morning trying to lose 5 more pounds while Cindy's like in a division 15 pounds under.
Eating cookies.
She literally like last
She walks in eating donuts.
Last
Trying to eat her
year,
way
she's
up.
like, I signed up for middleweight. I was like, that's almost my weight class. Like, why are you doing that? She's like, I didn't want to have to cut weight. I was like, you're like 16 pounds below. She's like, well, yeah, I want to eat a steak. And I'm like, a 16-pound steak? It's just nuts. Amy and I are always cutting weight. And like,
Yep.
but yeah, we do the day before and we're just like, oh, this is miserable.
Why are we doing
like,
this?
Why are we
So-
doing
What,
this?
So
what
Christy-
are we thinking?
Anxiety. Why are we doing this? Right?
Yeah.
You're a firefighter.
Oh, yeah.
No, like a firefighter.
Yeah.
You put the gear on.
Oh, yeah.
The same gear that the men wear.
Yeah.
Climb stairs just like the men do.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
save lives.
Just try to.
Try to. Well, yeah, of course you do your best, but like, is that not scary?
Dude, it's different. It's the same thing. It's the same feeling, honestly. It's like
When the
competing
buzzer
day,
rings for you
dude,
to go get
all
the
the
gear
lights
on?
come on, the alarm comes on, and you just know you're going somewhere. You put on like 120 pounds of gear,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to get up there just like that. You can't take an elevator. You can't take a elevator. You
Nope.
just got to run those stairs. Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, like same thing. But I think that to this day, I think jiu-jitsu helped my career because you're on a mask. Like, you only have a certain amount of air you can have before. If you run out of air, like your whole team has to leave, and then someone might still be in there. Like, there might still be like I have to control my breathing. I have to stay calm, and I have to use that adrenaline to like feed what I'm doing. It can't hinder me in that moment. You just can't fail in those moments. And I think that they go back and forth, but I started jiu-jitsu before I became a firefighter. So I think jiu-jitsu helped me definitely in my career. Just like waking up with that adrenaline, just knowing that it can't crumble you. It has to move you toward what you're doing. But yeah, I mean, it's all the same. Like,
Yeah.
it's the same
Absolutely.
feeling. Yeah.
And then as a firefighter, there's testing you have to go through, right?
Yeah.
And that's real.
Yep. Yeah, it is real.
So a physical test, like heart, you take a heart test, and all
Stress
that-
test.
stress
Yeah.
test.
Yep.
Yeah.
All of that. Like, honestly, I could be in a burning, but that's fine. My biggest fear is running out of air first on my team and
God.
like being the reason everyone has to turn back and quit. So like, this is like I don't know what other people think about when they're in there, but that's all I'm thinking about. It's like, I have
So-
to control my breathing and stay calm. Like, it's, but it's a skill. It is a skill you have to learn.
And staying exercising and staying in shape cardiovascularly, that's going to help you not run out of air.
Oh yeah, I
and be
mean,
able to
absolutely, for
perform.
sure. I mean, jiu-jitsu, I mean, if you can control your breathing, you control your heart rate, you control your anxiety, you control your fears. It all starts with that breathing, which is why I said earlier, like white belts, like just breathe through your nose, because like as soon as you get worked up, you hear yourself breathing hard, you're gonna get intimidated, you're gonna get scared, your body's gonna start to react. And that's the same with panic attacks. Like, I've had those too.
Feeling that.
You
feeling.
feel it, and then
Yeah.
that triggers you to you stop breathing normally, and then you start hyperventilating, and all all of it. Just, I mean, it's just amazing how you can control your body.
Yep.
That's something I've learned through jiu-jitsu and firefighting and therapy is like, you can control that stuff and channel it where you want to, but you have to, like, you can't just let it sit there and eat you. It is practice. Yeah. And then if you can practice that, then you can be a better jiu-jitsu player because you can control your breathing, you control your heart rate. And then there's literally my favorite thing in jiu-jitsu is watching the person I'm going against breathe hard while I am like not breathing hard.
Yeah.
Like it's a great feeling. It's like you are composed and just that gives you the confidence to be like, I'm better than this person. They are struggling right now.
Yep.
I can see on their face. I can see it in their eyes. And I'm just taking deep breaths and I'll just sit here till they run themselves to the ground and then I'll do what I want to do.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's like, it's that simple. And like life is like that too. I feel like if you can control your body and learn to do that, like you can literally do anything. It's just, that's what it is.
It's a superpower.
It is a superpower.
Right?
Yeah. Because it can eat you up. I mean, if you don't do it, it can go the other way. It can have you calling 911 in the middle of the night. It can have you doubting yourself. It can have you losing confidence.
Which is so easy to do.
It's so
never
easy.
even trying anything, not engaging with things because you're too scared.
Oh, yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And there's a lot of people out there that keep you scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Well, and they're scared, and so they want you to be on the same
Yeah.
level. And then it's like, you don't have to be.
they want you to be a
Right.
part of their tribe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So Christy, you being a firefighter, how like the house that you work in, like how many other females are there?
Yeah, there's like, we're at 8%, maybe just now reached 10% females.
So 1 in 10?
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah, so, and that's it's been a huge push lately. The first female firefighter was 1985. So it's been a rapid increase. And women are starting to become officer roles and leadership roles, which is really cool. Yeah.
That's great.
It just started behind, obviously.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Those women that are doing the same job you do, they're doing their job, officer roles, whatever, do they make excuses or do they know that this is a job I have to do? I'm going to do it no matter what it takes, right?
Oh yeah,
I'm going to
for
stay.
sure.
Yep. Like it's not like, oh, I need to keep up with the men, but like I need to know these men. I have their back.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that it's getting so much better even with time. Just like people are more accepting because we do bring a lot of my strength in the fire service is not my pound for pound muscle. Like it might be someone else's, but I have a lot of strengths to offer. Like I have leadership strengths. I have, I can think fast. I can control my breathing. I react great under pressure, make good decisions. And those are things I can bring in, and everyone knows their strengths in jiu-jitsu the same way. Like I might not be as strong as you are, but I can control my breathing and I can make good decisions under pressure. I can come out from exactly. And
you communicate.
Exactly. And in the fire service is the same way. It's like, I might not throw the ladder the same way he does because I'm 5'4". He's 6'2". Right. But I'll still get it up just as fast. It's just a matter of like doing it, finding a way to do it that works for me, but the same exact result.
So would you say that, you know, as being a female doing a job that some people perceive as like something that like only males should do or most males do, like it's not about that. It's about you're a team player.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's a huge mentality shift, I think, is to learn that everyone brings something. If you have 10 of the same person, it's not a good team.
That's right.
Yeah.
If everyone knows how to slam dunk, who can pass, who can throw far, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, that's awesome.
Having a woman in the mix changes the whole dynamic and makes you stronger in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone brings something different, and that's what makes it.
Because my construction company, I have 3 females that work for just one division.
Yeah.
And no one can do their job.
Yeah, that's awesome.
No one can do their job. They're really good at what they do. Mm-hmm. And we need that. And it's not a matter of competition. It's a matter of team dynamic, village, communication, strengths, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The same way Cindy and I both have jiu-jitsu schools. She's a female instructor, I'm a male instructor, but her school is better than mine. You know, it's
pretty baller.
Yeah. I know she has more technique than me, and I'm excited for the seminar, by the way. She's going to be teaching at my school, and
I'll be there.
We're going to be there.
Because in life, we all have roles. Yeah. Not assigned just because of who we are, what we are, but like, here's our strength, here's our strength, here's our strength.
Well, nursing, we have that too. Like,
for sure.
sucks because typically nursing is a female job, right? Like
My grandmother was a
traditionally or
nurse, by
whatever.
the way. Sorry, I just
Yeah. So like, but like, if you work on a floor and it's all females, you need 1 or 2 males in the mix,
Yeah.
or else
Yeah.
the girls are just gonna like eat each other alive. At some point, there's gonna be some beef. There's gonna be some cattiness. There's gonna be some like shift wars, like set wars. You're gonna war over like who's taking this person, who's not taking this person, who's got this many people, who's got this many people. All you need is like a couple men, just mix a couple men up in there. They're going to do more of like the heavy lifting, like the heavy work. You need a little bit of like both dynamic in there to like have a
Hell yeah.
Yeah. This
like
is
homeostasis. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's team.
Hey,
Yeah.
did you ever meet Hamilton Ash?
Yeah.
My buddy,
Totally. Yeah.
black belt.
Yeah. I
MMA
trained
fighter.
with him. Yeah. I trained with him in Kirkland. He helped Dex for some
Yeah.
of his fights.
Great fighter.
Great guy.
Great jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Nurse.
He moved to,
He's a nurse.
he is?
Yes.
nice.
Didn't he move to Montana or
Arizona.
back to, okay.
Arizona.
He was from Montana.
He was in Montana for a minute. He owned a school in Montana, an SBG school, straight blast. Yeah. Yeah. He owned a school there. But
didn't
his
know that
guys
he was
ran
a
it.
nurse.
Yeah. No, he moved to Arizona, Manitoba, south of Phoenix, somewhere. Yeah, he's a nurse.
Oh, that's cool. I
Got
didn't
4
know that.
kids.
I would never expect that.
Awesome guy. Nice guy. So
What's
funny
that
too.
then?
I love Hamilton. He used to work for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, swinging a hammer.
remember that.
Great,
That's nuts.
good
Huh.
worker. Yeah, he's a nurse. Awesome dude.
All right.
But anyways, man, right? Get on tangents. We all have, we all have our part,
Yeah. for
and when we
sure.
figure it out and accept it and do it, that's the best we can do, right? And I want to go back to females in jiu-jitsu. If you could meet a female that had a thought, an apprehension about not just like jiu-jitsu or martial arts, but like doing something outside of whatever, like what would you do? Like how would you connect with them? Like what would be the first thing that you would say to them? Like would you just give them a hug? Or would you slap them and stop complaining? Or what would you do?
Man, someone who wanted to just start something.
They talk about it.
Yeah.
They talk about it, right?
But don't do anything.
But they don't do
Yeah.
anything about it. Like what would you
I mean,
do?
I have that happen all the time.
And it is a thing. but
Yeah.
How do we get them in the door?
I tell them, man, like they're gonna, I'm gonna look so dumb. I'm like, hey, like nobody cares because everybody who's in the gym had a day one where they walked into the gym and they felt awkward and they felt stupid and they felt like they looked like they didn't know what they
And
were
we
doing.
still feel
Nobody
like that.
cares.
Like,
Yeah. And then like,
still
yeah.
as black belts feel that way all the time.
Like once you get your black belt, then you feel like, oh God, like it's, so everybody's going through it together.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so like, I don't know. I always tell, especially like females who want to like, they want to get their kids into it. I get it all the time at work. People who like know that I'm a martial artist, they want to get their kids in it or they want to do it themselves. And I always tell them like, the one thing that immediately changed once I started getting like into a little bit of a stride in martial arts training is like, I used to, when I would be like walking around at night, I used to get this like anxiety, this fear, always looking over my shoulder. Not that I'm not cautious now, but like then you feel completely defenseless, right? You just feel like it's a very vulnerable feeling, right? Not that it's not vulnerable now, but like at least you have something.
Yeah.
You have some way of defending yourself. If somebody were to like come up and try to attack you, mug you, like you at least your instincts are going to kick in and you have some way of defending yourself.
By the way, not to interrupt you, but anybody out there listening to this, if you're a guy and you're 200 pounds and you're not trained and you have bad intentions, you put your hands on this girl, she's going to maul you to death. I promise.
But try. I mean,
No. She says that humbly, but she's going to maul you to death. Anyways. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like it changes the way that you carry yourself down the road. And even if you like do it for a little while and you end up stopping, like at least you have something to go back to.
Mm-hmm.
If it ever comes to that point where your fight or flight kicks in, you're in the situation where you have to defend yourself, you have something. And same with the kids, you know, they have something because you're going to teach them like as well as the martial arts, you teach them like basic stuff about like basic self-defense, not just
Like bullying
for
stuff,
sport, but
anti-bullying
like
stuff.
for like street self-defense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, there's this girl, you remember Daniela, who I used to compete
Yes.
against. So she was like phenomenal at jiu-jitsu when we first started, like white belt. I think my first match at Pans, she beat me like 32-0. And I was like, I don't know what just happened. She got every point you could get. But I've fought against her all the way up. And then last time I saw her was purple belt. And she's from Brazil. She had been walking out of church one day in like her dress and her heels and got mugged by 2 guys and was in the newspaper because she broke one arm and choked the other guy unconscious. He woke up in handcuffs and in the newspaper had a statement saying, "We fucked with the wrong girl. Like we didn't know she was so strong." And it was like straight up purple belt jujitsu.
She's a purple belt.
Yeah.
No,
like,
hold
she
on. I didn't mean to
literally-
say that. She wasn't just a purple. She was a purple belt.
I mean, like, well, you're right, because it doesn't take a black belt to be able to do that stuff. You can literally
Exactly.
have just started jujitsu.
Exactly.
And it was like in the big national news in Brazil that she just like totally messed the one guy with the broken arm ran. I don't know how she armbarred him and then choked the other guy out, but like in a dress and some heels. I was like, this girl is baller. And it's like, but like those are stories that you like to hear. Like I honestly, when I was a white belt, I had way too much confidence because I was literally had been training for 2 months and I was like running. I was like, I want to run with my money out in my hands like this and someone could try me right now. Like come after me.
I want to fucking
I'm like running down 99. I'm like, I dare somebody to come after me with this money in my hands. I'll fuck you up. It's a different confidence.
Here we go. Have any of you ever been attacked on the street? And if not, it's okay. It's okay.
No, I haven't. Nobody would dare.
So
I've had like when I used to hang out at the bars, I would be every time I would go somewhere, like if I ever had a problem, it would be like the really drunk girl. Right? The really drunk girl with crazy hair.
Yeah.
That girl wanted to beat me up. Always.
I had that at work.
Always. Right?
Well, what would come of that?
Dude, I had one girl and everyone around knew that I knew how to do jiu-jitsu and everyone was like, do not beat that. Don't fuck with that girl. And I'm like, this poor girl.
This poor
I was
girl.
like, dude, threw a cigarette on me. I was like, dude, I can't attack this girl.
Yeah,
I wanted to.
Yeah.
I wanted to, but I was like, dude, you can't. It's just a poor drunk girl. But
She
I was
wouldn't
like,
learn.
you would be in the newspaper for being the asshole that attacked a
jiu-jitsu, yeah.
feeble drunk girl, right? But I mean, I think if I didn't know jiu-jitsu, I probably would have been like, I need to get in a fight with that girl, right? But I was like, dude, I can't even.
You had nothing to prove.
I'm just gonna sit here and
So
Watch, right?
I have had to use jiu-jitsu on the street probably 3 times.
That's awesome.
Isn't that crazy?
It's
Even a guy in
crazy.
my 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
Like I've had to use
Dudes do that. Like dudes fight.
It's different, right? Yeah, it's different. They got something to prove.
I had a boss that one time used to kick me because he knew I was a fighter. He would like thought it was funny and he would like kick me and grab me. And I was like, can you not kick me and grab me because I'm working?
Yeah, right.
I'm at work. It's kind of weird.
I don't want to get fired.
We're not fighting.
Yeah.
We're not fighting. I'm like a personal trainer and you're my weird personal trainer boss. And then he didn't stop kicking me. And I was like,
God.
I'm going to lose my job for this. But then I had like jumped on his back and choked him out. And then I was like, my friend Kyle worked there with me. And I was like, Kyle, come in here. I just choked a boss out. I think I'm going to get fired. And then I left. And then I was like, I guess I'll go back to work. And I went back the next day and he just never talked to me again.
Yeah.
I had a job there. He just never talked to me again.
Good for you.
It was great.
Yeah,
I was like, this
Fuck
is
that guy.
perfect.
That's what he gets. I got so my most recent unfortunate event
Altercation.
yeah was in New Orleans, St. Patty's Day on Bourbon Street. Yeah, shame on me for putting myself around that environment, but also as an Irish guy, I like drinking and I like celebrating St. Patrick's Day. So I'm walking back to the hotel. My friend's with me, who's also a very tough jiu-jitsu grappler and a Marine. We're walking back to the hotel, and this guy is on Bourbon Street just running his mouth to everyone, just trying to get in trouble. So we're walking away. He's in everyone's face. He gets in my face. And I said, hey, man. I was like, dude, I can't like try to have a civil conversation with him. It's not like Dr. Phil, right? I was like, hey, dude, go, leave. Just get out of here. Get the fuck away from me. And he's still in my face. I don't know why he picked me of all the people. He was in all kinds there's like 50 people around. And I even haven't told him, like, dude, if you touch me, if you get anywhere near me, I'm going to knock you the fuck out. Said that. And as I'm walking away, looking over my shoulder, like I'm trying to get away, I'm trying to show him, like, I'm leaving. I'm showing everybody with their phones. I'm leaving. I don't want to like start shit with this guy. And he's like taking his jacket off. I was like, oh, great. He's going to come at me, dude. And he's a taller guy, skinny. And he obviously doesn't know anything about fighting. He didn't recognize the ears, nothing. I'm like, oh, gosh. So, and I didn't even hit him that hard. He came at me. I hit him. I punched him in his face and I knocked him out. Put him to sleep. I was like, oh, fuck. So I kind of like hung around for a second and everyone's like, no, you need to, bro, go, leave. You got to go, Like,
You gotta run.
So I kind of like hide around the corner and like watching. It's like, he gets up. His buddy helps him up. I'm like, all right, I'm out of here. Good. Done. Yeah, I knocked him out. I warned him. But I kind of had no choice. What am I going to let him hit me?
Yeah, sometimes you can't.
Gonna let him hit me? No. Because if he would have hit me and knocked me out, would he have stopped there? Yeah. Or would he have stomped my face into the ground? Like, I've seen those videos. No.
Yeah.
Had to do what I had to do. And then the next day I go back, I'm kind of asking around the bouncers and they're like, hey, do you hear about that guy who got knocked out? Like right here last night? And they're like, oh, that happens every night. I'm like, okay, that makes you feel better.
I'm sure.
Like, oh, that happens all the time.
Regular
like,
thing.
That's normal. It's New Orleans on Bourbon Street. So lesson 1, never go to Bourbon Street.
No.
Ever. Unless you leave at a certain time before everyone gets drunk and belligerent. And number 2, I'd rather be able to knock someone out than to be the person. You know what? Of all the people he could have picked a fight with, I'm glad it was me and not someone else he beat up and hurt really bad.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Maybe when he was getting peeled off the pavement and walking home, he'd thought twice about doing that again. No one got hurt bad. And that's what it's for. Self-defense. Because it's going to happen.
Yeah, but I think even like as a girl, I wouldn't consider that. Like in a fight, I wouldn't consider I'm going to knock someone out with my punch, right? But like, because people say it a lot too. They're like, oh, jiu-jitsu, but I'm just going to punch you in the face. Like the guys that work with say it to me all the time. They're like, cool, you do jiu-jitsu, but then I'm just going to knock you out, right? But like, but I'm actually completely confident I can close the space and get in a position where I'm not going to get punched like that.
You're probably not going to hit me.
And that's what I want girls to know that too, is like, you don't have to be the person that's going to knock someone out, because you can get close, you can put them on the ground and run away. And that's the important thing to know that you can do. You can stop them from getting your legs open. You can stop like all this stuff that's important. And it's not about winning a fight. It's about literally getting yourself out of it.
Off.
Yep.
Yeah, getting off it. And that's like such important stuff for women in jiu-jitsu, because it isn't about being aggressive.
Yeah, it's a different.
It's the grab that you're gotta worry about defending. Yeah,
right?
Well,
because they're gonna.
That's just it too.
Versus like a.
That's it. That's just it. It's like as a black belt in jiu-jitsu, I know I could have grabbed that guy, taken him down, had my way with him, but I also know how to strike. I know,
right.
I know. Yeah.
That's
I know how to punch. I've swung a hammer for fucking 20-something years. Like, and that's kind of for me. I knew. I was like, I'm gonna hit this guy and knock him out. That's what's gonna happen. I'm not gonna try to grapple him and his friend comes up and stab me while I'm like, I'm not gonna I'm gonna knock him out and be ready for what's next. Like I knew I can do that, and that's why I also think in self-defense martial arts, jiu-jitsu is the most viable. It really is.
Well,
because a 125-pound girl may not be able to punch a guy in his face and knock him out, but she can guaranteed take him down and choke him out.
Yeah, right. Or just get him down and run. Like that's it. Get him down and run.
Get him down, choke him to sleep, and then run. And he wakes up. He won't even see you. You're gone.
Usually, what I tell people is like, knee the groin, like poke the eyes, use the butt of your hand up the nose, like all those little things, the dirty fighter things. And then if you have to, tie up, like take down, whatever. Or if you're already down, there's grappling moves. But
having a grappling background, that stuff makes sense.
Oh yeah.
But if you're a woman,
if you don't have to, don't tie up with a big dude. Yeah.
If you are anybody and you don't know how to do any martial art, and you go to one of those self-defense courses and they teach you how to do that stuff, that alone may not do it, right? But you being a grappler knows that, the knee to the groin will hurt him.
Knee to the groin is easy. Yeah, that's like
fingers in the eyes will hurt
that
them.
feeling of like
you got
that anxiety when there's a conflict. A lot of people like have never experienced like the anxiety of a conflict and then like being able to do anything. Right. Like
real situation.
Real tension.
Yeah.
Right?
Real
and,
like fight or flight.
Practicing within that tension is like, I think even if you don't have a lot of technique, it's just like understanding that feeling and like, okay, I can do one very simple thing. Like you said, what are like really simple techniques? And usually for girls, it's self-defense isn't like getting someone down, like we talked about. It's like getting away. I just want to get the fuck away.
Yeah.
Just don't touch me anymore. Get the fuck away.
Get them like even temporarily, like whatever the word.
A good teep kick
or
to the
like
sternum.
I'm just too hard of a
stomp
target
on the
to- there's
feet,
some other
something like
easier
that.
Thing.
Yep.
Something less with less
risk
or problem, right? This isn't an easy target.
No,
right? Not an easy target. That's
and then
really what you
rolling
wanna
your
become.
wrist out, like oh shoot.
Yeah, just all those stuff.
Again, like, Cindy, really good point. And I tell, because in that, a lot of people haven't been in that real fight or flight. Oh, this is the bear really attacking me situation. It's not like you're on the mat doing jiu-jitsu with your friends, live sparring, not in competition, even though competition is like, oh, where's the anxiety, right? Like it's scary, but they're not there they want to kill you, but they're not going to kill you, right? On the streets, you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. It's a whole different thing. And that's why I say to people, like, a 2-week course on self-defense ain't going to do it. When you're a decorated, not even decorated as competition, but like you've been doing grappling for 2 years, muscle memory is going to take over. It's going to be scary. They're going to come at you. But if you're a purple belt, chances are you're going to be able to like live way, you're going to be much more safer than knowing a 2-week course on what do they call it? Female self-defense, or what is it called? Like,
right.
Yeah. No, do jiu-jitsu, learn to grapple, learn to wrestle, learn a little bit of striking. Cindy, you've taken striking. You used to fight MMA. Yeah, Amy, you're one of my striking. She teaches striking at my gym. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, and I think that, it's not like, oh, I'm doing this because like, oh man, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? You're doing this because it's okay. It's okay to do this. It's okay to learn this. You're doing this because someday you may need it, and you'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Exactly.
Right? Because my wife, 115 pounds soaking wet, I fear nothing. No dude who has bad intentions is gonna like do anything to her.
Yep.
For more than one reason. She's not only a good, legit brown belt grappler who can, if you ever had her take her back and her little chisels getting, like she's choking you out. There's nothing you can do about that. I don't care how big you are. But also she knows how to fire a weapon. Yeah. And not that I think that's for everyone, but like she's comfortable with it and she's trained in it and she knows how to fire a weapon. And self-defense is very important. And the more people are capable of defending themselves, the less likely people are going to be when they, maybe I shouldn't do this because more people are less vulnerable.
And you know how to not make yourself a target.
And that's why I think that's why I like that jiu-jitsu has gone from 1% being women to now like 10 to 20%.
There's a lot more.
Because
and you see like the girl, like the kids, it's almost 50-50.
Yes.
Right? That's crazy. You're starting to see these.
That's the next generation.
Like, yeah.
Yes. 50-50. And the girls
are more savage.
Yeah. Because they're like flexible, they're technical, they're smart, they listen.
They're feisty.
Yeah. They're way more savage.
I see
the only thing the guys have on like when I like I used to teach kids jiu-jitsu and I, my wife does and I have coach until like puberty, the girls outdo the guys.
Yeah.
They beat up the guys. Like I got a girl, Charlie. She's like,
I saw her.
Yeah,
I saw her rolling today.
Holy shit.
I was like, well, this is a spicy little match going on right now. Yeah. And it was a girl and a boy. And the girl was like she was passing the boy's guard. She got past and then he like kind of like got her into like a little, like, she didn't like turn over when she passed, but she finally passed, and then she didn't turn over, and so then he like wrapped his legs up and like put her back in the guard, but then she just went right back at it, and she was boom, 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 boom. And then, man,
Yeah.
she is a tough girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
wow, this
I
girl,
got
like,
one of those in that came in, little 7-year-old, and I'm like, that girl wants to rip people's faces off.
Yeah.
Right? And like all the boys, I'll go easy on them. No.
Nope.
Or just try your best.
Just do your best. I know you're 11 and she's 7. Oh, I'm going to tap for you, buddy. It's okay.
You're like, that was a tap. I didn't tap. No, that was a tap.
Yeah, I'm going to call that a tap.
Whatever.
Girls are so much better now too. Like just like the 16, 18, 20-year-olds.
Oh, yeah.
And they're so good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's just another level. It's impressive.
So again, you know, like anybody who's watching this podcast, female, male, whatever you identify as, we don't give a fuck. Just come walk through the doors.
Yeah.
We're here to help. We love you. We want you to be able to not just defend yourself, but like give you an element that's going to help you with life in general.
And it will too.
Yeah, and it absolutely
Well, and the
will.
community of it, I think, is something I didn't really realize was there, right? Like all the people you meet, the friends, the connections, the team aspect that you're like, oh, it's an individual sport, and it's like it's not.
It's not.
It's not really, right?
It's not.
It is what you make it, but it's like it can be so much more, right? And that's really cool to see, I think, and like really powerful when, especially now when a lot of people don't have like tons of connections, and it's like a place where people can go and like have a pretty instant community, and then you can go anywhere and like go to a jiu-jitsu gym and meet people.
Yep. And there's no expectation. You don't have to be a certain way. You don't have
No.
to talk a certain way. Like no, it doesn't matter. And that's why I call the podcast Who You Know.
Yeah.
It's not about what you know, it's about who you know.
Yep.
Right. Like, yeah, I have my strengths. I have some things that I can help people with, but I love the fact that if I don't know about something, chances are I know somebody who does.
Totally.
Yeah. You know, and not just like accepting that and understanding that, but like using that. For instance, like as a construction business owner, jiu-jitsu school, you know, I own a few properties, rentals and stuff like that. Like I couldn't do it all myself, and I could not. And even if I wanted to, it wouldn't be possible. There's not enough time in the day. So like I hire people that are good at that portion of it and go, hey, here you go. Thank you. Take care of this portion of it. Boom.
Yeah.
They're better at that than I am. And so I can spend my time focusing on what I'm good at. And that's business too, you know? Like you don't see, I scale the scale, but like you've got, you know, Bezos, Elon Musk, even Gates, like all these guys who have multi-billion-dollar businesses, but they didn't do it themselves. They could not.
Yeah.
You know, it requires a team and leadership and education and an understanding of what it actually freaking takes to make things happen. And a lot of people, unfortunately, and not, I say unfortunately, but not intentionally, they try to do things that they shouldn't be doing. And they're not out there doing what they could be doing, you know? So, and jiu-jitsu was one of the things that helped me understand that, right?
Yeah.
Because you as a business person too, like jiu-jitsu was your passion, you're good at it, but you even admit that the business part of it was something.
Yeah, shortfall. And
Right.
It's like, okay, I've got to find those people.
That's right. And then when you did, you get to do your passion.
Yeah.
And even if like, oh, I could be making this much money, but no, I'd rather at least make this and pay them, right? To be partners because they can do this.
Yeah. And then everyone can win.
Thank
And everyone
you.
can get bigger, right?
Thank you. And that's great.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there's a lot of people that don't realize that. They don't. And it's okay to reach out and ask for help.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this, Cindy, if like go back, how many years did you first decide you wanted to have your own jiu-jitsu school? How many years ago?
20.
20.
Right?
If you knew now what you knew 20 years ago, would you have paid for that help? To have your own school knowing that you're going to win?
Yeah.
Yeah. You would have paid for it, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Yeah. I would have made different decisions to make it possible. Right.
Yep. And then eventually it pays for itself.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because they bring a value too.
Yeah.
Yep. And I've had many coaches in business.
Taking a risk of like, okay, I've got to take a little risk to get to a next level and like feel that uncomfortability. Just like you got to step out on the mat and have that feeling, win or lose.
I paid for this anxiety, don't.
Right? It's like that's what It's like okay, there's like things in business now or things in my life where it's like, oh, I need to do this. I'm super scared to do it, and it's like, go do it. It's like I don't want to do it, and it's like you got to go do it.
Face some fears.
Go do it, and things will get better. And every time I do that, usually pop out better. So it's just like now it's just like, okay, you don't want to do it, go get busy doing it because it's going to get better.
I'll touch on that a little bit. Is facing fears is really important because we are engineered to do that. Because go back, I mean, we can't really relate to a couple hundred years ago, but let's go back from what we've learned in history. People had a lot harder.
Yeah.
A lot harder, and like you woke up every day facing fear way more than we do now. It's now we're trying to like get rid of it completely and make it to where it's so comfortable that we never have a fear, but we're not engineered to do that really. No. We do have to face some fears. We do have to test ourselves.
Yeah. And if you make it too soft, then you get that you don't have the ability to do anything hard, right? It's like you need those small challenges to like prepare you for the big challenge. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Discipline, Yep. So in jiu-jitsu, in my opinion, one of the fastest growing sports, martial arts, like there's a lot of buzz about it. There's, actors, Ed O'Neill.
Yeah.
Ed O'Neill, like, like Married with Children, right? Like one of the most.
Oh yeah.
A lot of
Al Bundy.
Al Bundy.
Yep.
He is a black belt, been a black belt for a long time. A lot of people don't even know that is a black belt.
Mario Lopez
is up there. Tom Hardy competing, out there, like signing up for tournaments. Like
Bourdain.
Oh,
right? Oh yes.
Anthony Bourdain, rest in peace. Okay, Christy. Yes, this is true. And him and Gordon Ryan are like really good friends.
Yeah.
Gordon Ryan, like I, as much as I don't really agree with a lot of what actors and actresses do and say and how they think, but a lot of people look at them and like as their heroes because they see them on TV, and a lot of people like kind of they're advisors. So I'm glad that the proof is in the pudding, and they're doing something, and they say, hey, Ashton Kutcher,
Russell Brand.
Yeah. Maynard from Russell Brand.
He's like
Maynard from Tool.
Yep.
So and not just like, oh, they do jiu-jitsu. Like they're like purple belts, brown belts.
He has a school. Maynard has a school.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's a good feeling because like I think that there's a chance that, and I hope this is true, man. There's a chance that jiu-jitsu might save the world.
Yeah.
Might save the world. Because the compound effect, it's here, now it's here. Now it's like everyone, like a lot of people are starting to really see, like, okay.
Bringing people together.
Yeah, bringing people together because we got to.
Yep.
The division is pretty evident that's destruction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I don't want to go there. I hate talking about politics, but there's a lot of politicians that want us divided because that's how they have their power, right?
Yeah.
So we just need to go, fuck you. We're not going to listen to you. We actually really see what true unity can do.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Compassion, understanding, education, and honesty, the truth. And like, we're done with your bullshit and your lies. Get on our level, really be, or else, we're not here. We're not here to listen to your bullshit. And I hope that whether it's jiu-jitsu or something that we can save the world, because there's a lot of bullshit going on out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unnecessary bullshit.
Yep.
Wow. This is awesome. This is awesome.
Super fun.
I hope, I hope that we all leave here better people. I already know you guys are great people, and it's a humbling, very, good feeling that you are like, yeah, we want to do this, and it helps because I think that this conversation we just had may offend 5 people, but it's going to help thousands.
Hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is. It's going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I promise. And it's been very rewarding having all of you guys as a part of my journey. You know, I've known all of you since I was a white belt.
Yeah.
You
We'll
know.
get to go to some more tournaments together.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, seminars, competitions, watching you guys compete is an awesome thing too. You know, and I
Well, just seeing everyone's success, right? Like successes in all the different areas. You see you being a firefighter, all your successes. Now you have a school. And it's like really cool to see that jiu-jitsu builds all of that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And success doesn't come alone. It's okay to fail on the way because that's part of it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and Cindy admitting her failures, and she didn't give up. It's like, guys, there you go. You know, one of the best grapplers in the world is here in faced endeavors that we all face. And, you know, I have my failures too, trust me. When I started my construction company back in 2008, my first year in business, I made like $9,000. You make more than that at McDonald's.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, my second year, I made $15,000. You still make more than that at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Could I have given up? I could have.
Yeah.
But what did I look at? I made $9K and then I made $15K.
Yeah.
So what did year 3 do
Almost
for me?
double.
Let's call it $30K, right?
Yeah. It's super
You
big.
got to put in the work. You've got to take some falls. You got to get up, brush yourself off. You're going to have bad days. That's okay. Not every day can be perfect. If it is, you've died and gone to heaven. And most people don't believe in heaven. So, hey, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's life. It's life. And jiu-jitsu made me better. Not just the jiu-jitsu, but the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For all of us.
Ladies, thank you
Oh,
so
yeah.
much.
Thank you
Thank
so much for
you.
having us. It's super
That was fun.
Thank you. Awesome.
Yeah.
And
Where's your cat?
if
Where's that cat?
yeah, you're gonna touch the cat. So Christy's scared of cats,
I'm gonna
but
let it touch me.
she's good. She said she will touch the cat, and that's gonna be a win
If you
because
hear
she's facing
scream
a
as this
fear.
Could be the first cat that killed the person.
No, it's not gonna happen, guys. There's no way. She
Keep the
thinks of
cameras
cats.
rolling. I'm gonna
She
be
thinks
dead.
of cats is like eating her carotid artery, but
Dude,
like
they can
what she
sense
doesn't
that.
understand is ragdoll cats are like little dogs.
Like, where has it been the last couple hours?
Probably
though?
asleep.
It's probably
Powering up.
Scared of you.
hide.
Yeah. Back there doing cat
Hanging on
math,
the
you know,
ceiling
I'm gonna
up
kill this
here,
bitch.
like up here.